You're out and running.
You can go to think good. Oh, maybe your hands kind of faded.
Yeah. That's on around there.
Another few weeks, you can go back and get it, right?
All right, 6:30. Let's call this meeting to work. First on the agenda is the meeting minutes from last month. Anybody else ready to? Any visitors who would like to address the council? Yes. Move on. BPR with the worst dish.
Oh, you got to be quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so late this afternoon, I sent in, this updated proposal for the Lawrence ditch, culvert lining there on North Elkhart Street. It's a discussion topic that, was on and off last year. Did some more investigation. We had, Mark Wilson, our senior engineer, come out and visually inspect it and come up with a scope for updating it, lining it. Yeah, so Mark Wilson retired last year, so I kind of worked with Mike Bull, another transportation engineer, and in our department up in South Bend. And we kind of updated the scope a little bit and wanted to get it to you guys. So you can decide on if you want to move forward with it this year or not. Just real quickly, the scope of services, there's two parts. One is putting documents together for the actual floodway permitting to be able to do the work. And then secondly, the construction engineering and inspection, all the work is happening. So the floodway permitting, as you can see, we'll do some minor topographic surveying, put some plan sheets together, some drawings and specs, work with McCormick Engineering on performing hydraulic modeling and putting the permit application together. And then during the construction engineering, we'll provide full-time inspection. We think it'll take 2, 3, 4 days to do. We'll take lots of pictures, write down detailed notes, make sure it's being done according to the manufacturer's specifications. So, yeah.
In this, does this cover East Waterford section 2 or no?
I actually, I'm not sure on that. I do not think so.
We like that to kind of maybe be under the radar too here for, we got some active sinkholes in there. No other transition knowledge.
Yeah, yeah, no, this is not including the,
We fixed ours and the one that's split between the county and the town that needs addressed. I'd almost say it's a little more critical right now. The active sinking spots in the yard.
is that the one where we were trying to figure out the interlocal agreement for? Between,
They should be both of them should have it. But also, this is the one we feel like maybe more of a priority because being that it's actually sinking right now. So,
It's just under where Indiana Avenue does it.
yeah, the cone keeps getting shorter. Yeah, that's fine.
I saw that.
It looked like everything south of Waterford was okay when Mark was here. It looks like everything north needs to be either lined or some other method, so.
Okay. Let me get with, Ed and,
Okay,
Michael. Then we can.
I think, according to Mark, if I remember this right, it was almost gonna be a wash and about the same distance. Right, I think so. It was pretty close.
Okay.
I can require using the access at the end of my driveway to the culvert.
I'm not sure on that yet. We'll be in contact with you if it does. They may be able to just come in from the north side, but they'll have to clean parts, but so we'll talk to them. And we'll get a better, picture of what it needs, so. Yep, you're welcome.
Yeah, let me get with, a couple of my teammates and we'll, see if we can revise the scope a little bit, get something back to you.
Yeah, can we transition to the water and wastewater?
Yes.
I don't know if you're gonna touch on that.
No, I was just gonna say, at the last meeting, I know you guys had a lot going on, over there at the pavilion. But presented the water and wastewater proposals, for capital improvement projects. Were there any, questions now that you had some time to digest it? I know Alex and I, we kind of talked about it briefly, that week, but haven't heard anything since. Just wondered if you guys had any comments or questions.
I'm hoping we can have a decision tomorrow night at the meeting because we really need to get these projects going. They have to engineer some of it into hit construction season. We really need to push this project through. RDC has funded most of these projects. And then the leftover funds from hopefully the water treatment plant contingency money will be used to fund the rest of it. So funding's okay. We just need to pull the trigger to sign the agreement. With the engineering aspects.
I know the water was on a quicker timeline, but wastewater probably has a lot more of a design lead time. Obviously permitting, so. We'll keep that in mind.
Any questions on that? So everybody knows, the one water project is for a booster station converting the old water treatment plant. The other one's for lagoon improvements that are necessary. The lagoon improvements are phased over 3 years, so it'll be a stair step. With kind of a step down cost every year, so. One of the biggest projects were done in year 1. But to extend the longevity of the wastewater improvements.
Yep, necessary improvements for
Yes.
sure. Updating.
I'll hold on to them as long as we can.
Any other questions? Katie?
A couple items to start off with that, we want to follow the formality on a little bit more closely. One is conflict of interest form. I questioned Charlie about it and talked to State Board of Accounts about it in the last couple weeks. In the last 2 years, we had a couple of small handful of conflict of interest forms that we all discussed and were aware of, but weren't formally approving those in a council meeting. State Board of Accounts said you can't really go back and correct those now, but moving forward, we'll just want to follow that Indiana code a little bit more closely, and any conflict of interest forms will need to be formally approved in a council meeting. And then the other one is a certificate of appointment for the redevelopment commission. In the past, the council has just as a whole appointed the 5 redevelopment commission members. And our RDC redevelopment commission attorney said that the correct way to do that is for the council president to appoint 3, and then the rest of the council to appoint 2, and then we appoint the school board member in the summertime. So he has asked us to go back and correct what we did last month and do it the right way for 2026. And so there is a form that he provided in the folder and on the Google Drive. just to fill in those names. Both of those things, I don't think changes the outcome any, but just making sure we're following those formalities as accurately as we can.
Yeah, it does spell out our employee handbook, the conflict of interest.
Yeah, something we missed. And
I noticed today on Gateway when I was looking that, Yaphank City Council, all of their members signed one in January
for,
for the year,
for
for
anything,
conflict of interest.
I think that they would want to discuss
Mhm.
each item.
You can do a universal, I don't know, if you have to do every item.
I don't know.
If you have to do, approve every check, I don't know that. That'd be something we might.
I think you'd want to discuss each specific situation, but I don't know. The reasoning there or how they do theirs. But State Board of Accounts didn't mention that to me, but. Any questions on that certificate of appointment for RDC? And then another new requirement is that we have to post, the board members and their terms on the website. They've now put that on there, and then I went ahead and added our board and true board. For transparency and we'll put them up there too. Next item, we have our interlocal agreement for the animal control services we have with the Humane Society. They don't have any statistics for the number of animals that they service for us for 2025 yet, but they do have their agreement. Same price as last year, 7,260.
Any questions on that?
Next item, we have the door-to-door salesperson forfeiture ordinance that Charlie and Tim have been
Oh,
working for. Charlie, I just uploaded it on there. I mean, I've read through it, but something we've all been discussing the last few months.
Okay, so I can walk through it if we want. So that first amendment to the town ordinance is the section 110-18, that peddlers and interment merchant regulation encompassed, the current version encompasses door-to-door solicitation. And so I didn't want to just get rid of that entire section. And so I just restated that section without the door-to-door solicitation concepts in it. The section 110-18 deals with selling from some fixed place. At some point, maybe that needs to be revisited too, but what we were focusing on at this point was the door-to-door solicitation. Then you got the definitions in there and door-to-door solicitation, define business day, any other day other than Saturday, Sunday, or state holiday in Indiana, which then is when listeners can solicit just on business day. Exempt persons, protected political speech, protected religious speech. 2 and 3 are essentially like your nonprofits, individuals that are soliciting for nonprofits. 3 would be the actual entities themselves. C4 is something that Tim and I had talked about, whether or not we should include it. I ended up putting it in there. And for example, there's like I think for cable providers, there's a state statute that they have to get a franchise with the Indiana Utilities Commission, and so they're exempt from like registering with the town because the state statute exempts them from doing that. So Tim and I were talking about it, and I thought that I had put this in here in subsection 4, but I put it in my notes. I'm going to put in in addition to this subsection 4, that the person who's claiming that they're exempt under the federal or state statute needs to provide that proof. So that if Tim or his guys question somebody, but they just can't out of thin air say, hey, I'm exempt because, okay, well, you gotta show us that proof. And then I'm also gonna include the concept that those people, to the extent they're required to, still have to follow section 11103, which is like the regulations with the door-to-door solicitation, because the direct marketing authority, franchisee permits, and the Indiana regulatory commission requires them to still follow the reasonable rules that the town has set. We just can't charge them, require them to get an additional license and charge them additional. So that's an example of who would be exempt, but I'm gonna add that language for your consideration as well. Then 11102 is just going through that the solicitor license is required. Subsection C on page 3 describes what can be included in the application. Tim and I had talked about, and then Tim, you can jump in if I'm not describing this correctly, that, we had talked about Tim and his department doing some local background checks on people that are applying. But then there's also a limited search that can be obtained through the Indiana State Police Department, which a couple of the ordinances that I reviewed required those to be attached to the application. And so in talking with Tim, he thinks that's workable. Maybe we provide a link or some type of information when people pick up the application that they know where to go get those. But if they're,
Then they'd be responsible for bringing them back in.
they need to, for any, so when the ordinance talks about solicitors, it's including both like the organization itself and anybody that they're gonna have soliciting on behalf of that organization, whether they're an employee, an agent, or contractor. Those people have to be listed and they have to have that background check from the state police attached to the application. And so the licenses are going to apply to any organization that does the overall soliciting, but then anybody else, any person that they have soliciting for them falls within that application too. And yeah, I just contemplated that they would submit those state police department background checks with the application for anybody they're gonna have wandering around. And then there's another provision in here that says if there's anybody with them, they all gotta have it. They all gotta be part of that license. So they can't just like rope in somebody else to kind of wander around with them and be like, well, he's got a license. Well, no, you gotta have one too if you're with them. So then Tim and his guys can still investigate further if they need to. And then on page 4, D subsection 2, Tim noted that burglary and robbery, those aren't misdemeanors, those are just automatically felonies. So I'm gonna take those out. And they just fall into the felony part. $50 fee, 7 business days. They gotta come back in and renew it 3 times, up to 3 times for 7 additional business days. Katie's office and Tim have 7 business days to review the application before they approve it, which is, that's about what most of the ordinances, that's about the shortest time period that were in most of the ordinances. Then 11103 is the restrictions on the solicitor on the your don'ts as far as soliciting the time period of the days.
No more after hours.
What'd you say, Phil?
No more after hours.
Yeah.
I need to make the application $500. I'm tired of beating on the door.
Well, the word's out. I mean, he came to my door smelling his hand before I even had to ask for it. So,
The application,
no, his whatever he got from up here.
Oh, okay.
you know.
Okay, well, and this ordinance requires them to have it on their person, so like if any Tim or any of his guys, anybody associated with the town or the people that they're coming up to their door, they've gotta have it ready to go.
There's gonna be a learning curve for them. I mean, that's a given.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these companies are sending their people in to register. And I bet you $9 out of 10 that they're gonna go, whoa, I don't have $50.
Mhm.
And that's when they're gonna say, somebody on the phone, call them so we can do a transaction over the phone, or you gotta come back another day. And but that's only after they get approved to solicit.
Right.
So, you know, they can come in on Monday and they say, hey, we're here to solicit Katie and Lisa. It's your duty for you all in there for them to say, well, fine, you can apply for it, but you're not starting today. We have until the week following to approve whether you're going to come in or not. When you do, you need to make sure that you have your background checks done through the state police. Again, it's not through the state police, it's a link that the state police provide. People that go in there and do it.
So is there a way that we could put those solicitors, the ones that have that get approved for the town to see? Is there
Website.
on the website? Is that difficult? Do we just need to make the townspeople aware of our procedure and they need to ask for it? What is that? What do you think?
How long would you leave it up on the website?
Well, it's only valid for those dates, so you have to put the dates in there that it's valid for.
I guess I'm not understanding what you're asking.
So I'm thinking as a resident, if somebody comes to my door to solicit, how do I, if I don't, say I don't know that I'm supposed to ask them to take this form. Is there a way that we can put on the town website or somewhere that these people are allowed to solicitate for these states? They are, they're valid? Or
I would
should
be
we-
more happy to put something.
Or do we
through.
just educate?
It seems like whenever I post something about a dog or a
Yeah.
cat, it's almost like these stay-at-home moms, they're just thriving for that interaction of social media. And I'd be more than happy to put something on the police department's webpage as they're going about. We kind of talked about at one point, Facebook, put it on our Facebook page. Well, I mean, do you do the alert system? That's a way of doing the alert system, have access to the alert system as well.
I don't know what it does, if it's just educating the residents to ask for it, or if it's,
It's a little bit of both, I think. I think it's, you're still gonna have those people that are gonna say, I didn't get
Right.
the alert, I'm not Facebook.
Right.
We can only do so much.
Right.
And then when the people do call the police department and say, hey, they're registered, they've gone through the
Right.
following procedures, they check out, they're gonna be here for the next 7 days. Or however many days. The last ones that you've been pushing out, it's like that day, like our advice system, they're only here for a day.
Just wondered, what is the in-town resident usage of the emergency system?
How many subscriptions do you have for
Are
the
people
alert?
in town on that
reach
system?
alert.
Like how many people can be registered?
How many
How
are
many are
registered?
registered?
There's, last I looked, and it's been a little while, there were a lot of people in the outskirts of Walker that weren't actually from in town a long time.
And that's okay, I'm just wondering how many in town are getting the penetration, or can you reach out, try to get before people to.
We had a minimum to start and.
Hard to tag a number on there. I had to throw a number out, I'd say maybe 150, 200.
I'd say less than 10% of the residents.
Oh, that-
I
I'm just encouraging you to figure out a way to get people to use that, which is very helpful.
Well, we can advertise it again on the Facebook page.
mean, it is. I mean, it's
We put it on the water bill too.
Yeah,
mean, we've done that, and we can do it again.
Yeah,
Something
it's
to do.
still putting it in the newspaper every few weeks. Years ago.
It comes across through either email and or text.
Yeah, or you can give it sign up for voice recording.
But we can advertise to do it again. Oh, no. Yeah.
I choose to do residents,
But,
I choose not to have Facebook.
yes, so you want to wait to sign up for that for your cell phone or for your, we can do that.
For the alerts.
Oh, you are, okay. That's what I would be doing, is putting a link on Facebook, you know. And I'm gonna go.
There's a specific provision, Robbie, just scroll back up a little bit, that right there in subsection I there, that this ordinance doesn't allow solicitors to ignore the no solicitor, no solicitation signs on. And then there's a mechanism by which to revoke the license and a mechanism to appeal it. Appeal the revocation. And there's the fines. So, council would pass this tomorrow night, and he has to publish it for 30 days for it to become effective because there's a penalty. So, need to work on the application itself, include reference to this additional information, the current application.
I really like it.
Yeah, thank you, Tom.
I mean, Charlie.
Thank Tim too.
It's been needed for a long time. It wasn't the most recent that we realized and how minuscule of a ordinance that we had, pretty much just a.
Yeah, and
That's what it was.
yeah, I mean, I had included those sample ordinances last month, and then I went back and, actually, there's the one for Cicero, then like Whitetown had like almost the exact same ordinance. And I did a little bit more research, and like these terms that I have in this ordinance are consistent with what you'll find, you know, in a lot of other ordinances. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's like overbroad or overreaching or something
Right.
crazy out there, because I mean, all these terms are, I just essentially pulled them from other ordinances.
You know, these major companies that come in and solicit the town, they can afford
Yeah.
$50 plus 10 more for the next 3 weeks if they want to remain being in here. You name a company that's been in here soliciting in the last 3 years, and I'll be able to say, yes, you know, they can afford $50. They can't, then see ya.
I think that's been helpful too, you know, there's different things, Charlie, that you-
Oh, yeah, yeah.
One other item, in my folder, there's the cabin resolution in 2013. Last month, someone asked when the last time we increased the cabin fee was. In 2013, it was $50. We may change to a tent rate, but people living within the town limits is 75, outside town limits is 100. I also kind of did a quick look at our dock pavilion rentals compared the income compared to the expenses. Now that we've had a complete year, that being rented. The expenses don't cover everything, like our payroll for our cleaning lady, and there's a few things that aren't in there. And it almost broke even without those numbers being figured in. Give you a quick look at that.
How many times a month would you think having this, like on average, I mean, it looks, every time I look down there, it's running,
It's probably busier than docks and docks.
yeah.
Um, around holidays and graduation is definitely the busiest.
Yeah.
It's rented most weekends, sometimes Saturday, Sunday. On average. 10 to 15 times. And then
Right. I know when we figured the, rental rate for docks, really went through all of that. And we were really figuring low, because we wanted to introduce it. And get it, and we needed to feel confident at both of them.
Yeah.
I had looked at St. Joseph County, Elkhart County, and their in-town one, the ones that were not for profit. We stayed low. Compared to all of them.
Anything else, Kate?
that's it.
Water, or wastewater.
So, yeah, GLZ, they're not here this evening. Stephanie couldn't make it. But we do have two pay apps, both for the water treatment plant, one for GLZ and, one for our Yoder. Water treatment plant's progressing nicely. We've given our Yoder, unofficial deadline of the end of March, to make things happen. So they're projecting that it gets online by the end of March. All the site work won't be done, all the finish work won't be done, but they're hoping to have it online by the end of March. So very nicely, progressing. Subs are all doing a good job. If you guys ever want to take a tour of it, let me know. We can get you out there and take a tour. It's really going to be a very nice facility for many years to come. So guys are excited for the SCADA system that's going to be coming. That'll be a game changer for operations. So most of them have never experienced a SCADA system, and it's the tool that they've been missing. So the whole community is missing that too. So Josh, you can probably attest to that. It's a game changer.
Be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right now they shoot blind. Yeah. And now they're shooting blind on operating the water system, just off of the low pressure gauge. Now they'll be able to see trends, they'll be able to see, if we have a big water user at night or someone's stealing from a hydrant, all that stuff will show up. The weather effects, those will all show up in the tower SCADA system. So when operation needs to be extended, if we need to start moving towers more, changing hours of operations, it's a big game changer. Seasonal operational changes, it'll be very nice. So Aaron will have a learning curve, but it'll be good. So. Yep.
Oh, the station, is that still waiting on?
Yeah, this station is waiting on NIPSCO, so it's a thing that's out of Reach Riley's control. NIPSCO isn't always the most timely on things, but it is winter time here, so they're dealing with weather as well. Construction project doesn't take priority over down poles and stuff like that. So with more hazardous conditions, they shifted the priorities to take care of that stuff first. I think we're getting closer. So hopefully we hear soon. Startup will go pretty nicely, not a lot to it, and then they'll start the decommissioning of the two old lift stations. In a nutshell.
And
Yeah, so we'll go to Public Works now if you guys are good with that. No questions with the LG pay apps. So of course, we'll want to revisit the JPR. That's one of the first things I have, the JPR proposals for water and wastewater tomorrow evening. Hopefully we get a vote on that. One thing that we, in 2026, we had proposed to replace the street sweeper. And when we put this proposal together, it's almost like a 10-year budget for capital equipment replacement. We're looking at, so no two big items will hit in the same year. It's easier to budget a municipal budget if you can flatline it versus $600,000 one year and $100,000 the next year. So if you can kind of flatline those, but also manage your life expectancy of equipment, you're able to manage your assets better. And it seems it's more affordable to the community. So what we had originally slated for the sweeper in 2026, but we have a 1974 fire truck. It's an old ladder truck that we use to get to elevated surfaces, like fixing the stoplights, trimming some tree branches that may be dangerous, putting up snowflakes or flags, any of those such things, but feel that it is very unsafe. Last year we had an incident where the ladder just kept going and a guy was in it and almost took out the stoplight. He could have got seriously hurt or killed, or take out the stoplight and $30,000 later, we're fixing a stoplight. So we feel like the town's got its use out of a 1974 fire truck from the fire service down to Public Works. It's time to replace the site. In the Public Works Department, I'm not a fan of one single item that only does one thing. So we wanted to find a piece of equipment that will both reach the heights that we need as well as diversify it. So it's just not one dimensional. So we did some research. We looked at a loader. We looked at a backhoe. We looked at a bucket truck. Bucket truck's one dimensional. A loader's pretty much one dimensional and couldn't reach the heights that we need. A backhoe didn't solve that issue either. Couldn't reach the heights that we needed. So the best thing that we could find that seemed the most economical and diversifiable is a Bobcat telehandler. It can reach up to 23 feet. You can put a man basket on it. That's certified. It can plow snow. It can act as a forklift, which we're looking at getting a used forklift for the garage, so that takes that need away. It can stack salt taller in the barn. Right now, we're limited with the backhoe. It bottoms out, so we can't stack it as tall. So midwinter, we have to get another shipment, which isn't a big deal, but it can be. If you don't get it early on, other people need it. The state pulls priority over the municipality. So they get theirs first, we get ours. So things like that will make this piece of equipment more diversifiable, and we'll be able to, it's not just a one application machine. So we looked at the Bobcat telehandler that's a 623 and felt like it was a good application for our needs. It's a Sourcewell price. Also that so Bobcat's been really good to communities, to municipalities. So it's a nice discount they give you for the Sourcewell bid. We did look at a Manitou. I was presented with some information for a quote on a Manitou. I did a little research on it this afternoon. I don't think it's going to be our best bet. It requires depth, and I'd like to stay under that depth application. So the cost difference was $1,000 or $1,500 when you figured in the attachments and stuff. And the accessory plate that had to go on it to fit skid steer equipment. So I don't feel like for the little more horsepower that you get for about the same lifting capacity, I would love to stay away from depth and not have that as an issue. So I did get some quotes on some used Bobcat telehandlers. One was from True Air Equipment in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's a 2023, just about the same size, just a couple. They come out with a new model, but it's the same size. Had 2,000 hours on it, $125,000. Same place, they had a 2022, 2,600 hours, $120,000. Reinhardt Equipment Company, I forget where that was from. I think it was in Indiana. Had a 2025, the model we're looking for, but it was 124 without the attachments. The price that we have is $123,000, sorry, let me restart. $123,071. I don't see that number that often. Bank house a lot smaller. And 9 cents. But this will come with a bucket. It'll come with a grapple bucket, and then it'll also come with a it's called a Snowbox Pro. Originally we quoted it with a Snowbox. That has been white lined, and we did the Snowbox Pro because it allows you to go from, it's not just a snow box, but it goes 35 degrees each direction, so it pivots. But also it can become a blade too. The box comes off with a quick attack, and you have to get out. So I feel like that's a good piece of equipment. And with the municipal discount and the Sourcewell price, and the needs that we have, I think it'd be the best piece of equipment, the Public Works Department. Rob, myself, Randy, and Aaron actually went to Bremen's Electric Utility. They had one, and they stated that it was the best piece of equipment they've ever purchased. So, Rob, you can attest to that. We saw it demoed. Extremely pleased with it. And actually, the biggest complaint was it didn't have quick connect. Well, the new ones do. So we should be extremely satisfied. So if you guys have any questions on that, I'm more than willing to answer them.
Well, that's on the Google Drive, the 118.
Yeah.
That with the discount.
So the 118, but okay,
Take
so
off the one line item and add the second quote that's in the folder to it.
so yes, so the regular stationary rigid snow box, we took that off. We added in the snow box pro.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Best deal I found after searching was one in Illinois for $105.9. So 2025 was 6 hours, but after you add all the other equipment that you need, you're back up over your
And
bridge.
shipping and yeah, yep, exactly. Thank you, Rocco.
So I will try to reach out to you too, and the safety basket, because we use them
Okay.
and they're OSHA approved, and you gotta have your straps on, and rings and all that. That won't let you come out of there.
Perfect.
So I'll get you the name of that one.
How high are they OSHA to go?
How high will ours go to?
No, how high is OSHA approved you go?
Oh, that they never let you go up 60 feet if you reach it.
I don't think there are any rules.
There's no
that
rules really on it.
tick.
As long as you're tied off.
Yeah, you have to have safety harnesses.
Yeah.
I thought maybe for that particular.
No, and that will probably be a requirement when you're in that basket, but have the safety. harness.
It will be a requirement. It's gonna be a department policy. No ands ifs or buts about it, with progressive disciplinary action. So,
Because that's something you don't want to get launched out of.
no, so I feel like we have a duty to protect our guys when we ask them to do something, so let's do the piece of equipment that's been best for them, but also diversify that piece of equipment to help us out. So, any questions on that?
One of the questions I know I had asked you was, if we move the street sweeper to next year in the
Yes.
budget, like, what did we have in the budget to get next year that we're not gonna get?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I missed that. Okay, so this is the 10-year capital plan, and things can get shifted. It's just making sure that dollar amount there for that item. But if something else of a priority, in my opinion, comes up, then we can move them. So with this, we're shifting the sweeper to next year. Next year, we're supposed to do the backhoe. But with this piece of equipment, once we get it, we're going to determine where we go in the future. So we may not need the skidster in the future. Maybe this piece of equipment takes care of that need and the ladder truck need. So that's something that we're going to be evaluating as we go. My goal is to not have any more equipment than what we need to do our job safely and efficiently, and less capital costs. So if we can find that piece of equipment that may substitute something else, I'm great with that. Hopefully you guys support that as well. So that's our goal. But the sweeper will be moved till next year.
I'm almost wondering if the backhoe phases out.
That was one of my discussions as well. But I don't want to overcommit or overpromise because I don't know that answer yet. So I'm hesitant to commit to that, but let's see what this thing does. And you guys have my word that if we feel like we don't need something, I mean, more shop space, the better. We won't have that piece of equipment. So that transitions into my next conversation is the pole behind generator. We're getting to the point where we don't need that once the lift station's online and the new plant's online. So I need you guys to think about that a little bit, what you guys would do with that. It's a thing that organizations use. So do we want to keep supplying that and take the liability versus, I mean, not only the liability of like electrical liability if somebody gets hurt or we fry something based on our system, because those things don't get grounded properly. You're supposed to have 2 ground rods every time you take it somewhere. So we open up liability there. Where do you guys want that? So start thinking about if it's something you want to shed or if it's something you want to keep as a community and keep donating out and absorb that liability. So just think about that. I need some direction. We're not ready yet, but we're going to be ready in the next 2 months.
So You're not gonna be able to use that at any of the lift stations when
No.
power goes out?
No, we won't. We'll have a contract with Schwartz and saying, look, if we ever run into an issue, you need to find a standby generator to come here because the voltage is all different now. Like the water treatment plant, that's a 480 volt, and right now it's like a 240, so I won't even line up. They're temporarily making that transformer work out there by powering off another transformer. So that'll be obsolete out there. So.
So is that something we're gonna have to look into the future for a generator to run that?
No, we have standby generators in all our facilities now. So the main lift station will have one, the new lift station will have one, and the water treatment plant will have one. So we have no need for it. So
What organizations are still using the,
I don't know the names of the organizations. The local ones the ones that do it at the VFW, or the Legion. Yeah. Sorry, I apologize. I don't know those. I just get the phone call and we talk about it, and it's something we do every year, so. But it's like one or two organizations that we do.
They have their elementary school used to use it for fish fry, but they no longer do the fish fry. They used to use it for the elementary school fish fry, and they no longer do the fish.
Yeah.
the one that it's
Yeah, it's the Legion.
at the Lions Club? Or is that
No.
just straight up Legion?
So just think about it and I'll take some ideas or whatever direction you guys want to go. I don't care. But I don't think we need to maintain it anymore for sitting there. We're not gonna use it. It's a diesel motor. I really don't want it to sit. So,
I was somewhere.
yeah, somewhere. We just don't have that need anymore.
What
So
do you think the worth of it would be? Do you have any idea?
the what, the worst?
I mean, if we were offered.
When we saw the stationary one for,
$9,000 or $10,000.
yeah, so it may be around that
That was
dollar.
a compressor though, right?
No, that Chad bought that one. I think it was like $6,500.
The compressor went higher than the.
Yeah. But that's it.
Can't remember what
Standby generator that was the police department's went to
Yeah.
like 6,500 or something. I don't remember exactly.
A little
So,
bit of a different animal, but yeah.
yeah, so it may go 6 to 9.
Didn't that compressor go for 11?
The compressor went high.
Yeah. Yeah. So just think about that. If we're not gonna use it, I'd rather not store it.
How big is it?
Is
it 50
I'd have
feet
to-
up?
60, 50? I'll get that information to you. I don't remember exactly the size of it. But
We got someone who's been looking for a used one. For, a couple of wells.
they need some filters. I got some more filters you can take. I think that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions from ours before. Does have any other questions?
Else. Oh, one other thing I did, and I know we talked about working on it, but, these utilities or whatever, just come in, these cable companies just come in and just.
That's the next ordinance.
Okay.
Yeah, do this one, and we'll, actually, I do have one other thing,
Plow lines in with.
so I think we need a little direction on, something in the handbook that I think would require an executive session, to discuss.
I did check with Charlie and he said that we can do that under Mr. Norman. I would had it to bring up, but if you want to talk about it now, we can do.
I don't, since it involves a person, I
Yeah.
don't want to get into too much detail,
Right.
but it's, something I think we need to talk about, set a date tomorrow. Council meeting for anything.
And I had mentioned it to each other.
Okay,
We can do this piece.
so just to touch on that a little bit, just so we have clarification.
Okay.
So.
I know, I will.
You know. So many tasks on a Monday and I did not get it done, but it will be in there tomorrow morning. Shortly after 10:30 in the morning.
I didn't say what time zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, water meters, I've been gonna ask about those nights. Water meters, where we're at on installation.
So we did about 130 last year.
Okay.
We kept some back, for dying meters.
Mhm.
This year, we don't have it slated for a skid. We're gonna order some boxes in. So we can finish up a couple streets, but also so we have some on the shelf.
Okay.
That's the game plan this year. We had it budgeted for them,
Mhm.
but, I financially want to hold off just a little bit, see what the year brings. And maybe something we buy towards the end of the year and then work on it throughout the winter. I just think with the capital projects we have coming up for engineering costs, I think I'm gonna hold off a little bit, so. I'm all for getting them done, but
Yeah.
the ones that we have are
That's where we're
installed.
at.
We're out, I just ordered a couple boxes, I just, financially, I think we should wait just a little bit.
Everything seemed to be going well with those.
Yeah, I think so. A couple hiccups there and there, but it's really a good system.
So it's really.
Yeah, and we're starting to see more dying meters, so having a few boxes on hand, is a good thing. So,
Might be a good, I don't know if this is a good time, just, but to talk about the benefit of the inspections you've been doing.
oh yeah, so I kind of put it in the report a little bit. We've been doing business inspections. It's the first time that really we've done them like this. So we're going to every major user in town and kind of reviewing meter information, reading serial numbers, looking at fire protection systems, checking for illegal connections on fire protection systems, making sure businesses by state law, they have to test their backflow preventers, make sure they're actually testing them. We have a report and I know which ones haven't. So we're actually doing that physical inspection to make sure, see if they have gotten, and we haven't gotten the report. So far, we found a new place of business that is double billing, getting double billed, not by our fault. By their fault, they put a meter after their main meter. So they're getting charged twice. So I think it was an irrigation meter, and it's got 200,000 gallons worth of usage, so they paid for that twice with sewer. Not our fault there, so we contacted them, let them know of a correction that they can do. We talked to Thor. They have an instance where they're getting double metered as well. Or not double metered. They got a chance to make it so they're not getting charged sewage on an irrigation meter. Then we also found another business in town, which I won't say its name, had a legal connection that used to feed like a rain wash area to test campers and RVs to make sure they didn't leak. So some decent finds, but we're also building good relationships too with the head of maintenance in most of these facilities. So it's been good for our guys to put their eyes on it, to know where everything is, and then we're taking that data and we're dropping it on our GIS system, so we know where fire protection risers are located, where meters are located, so it's less confusing. So you get some of these places, they got 12 meters and 20 risers. It's like, where are they all located? So it's been really good. I don't know if Aaron's talked about it all, but it's been really good.
Great opportunity for just good PR as well.
Yeah, we talked to one business, I won't say its name, but they're looking at adding on a 25,000 square foot addition here in the near future. So that's great. You know, you find out that stuff, but you also build a relationship with their head of maintenance. So good. That's it, I promise.
I still don't have a report then.
Well.
Didn't know if you had
anything else for us tonight.
The Tahoe, new Tahoe,
It is in, we have it down at R&B, it's being built right now. As far as all the light packages and things, they've had it for a week, so. Assuming it will be hopefully towards the end of this week. On the road.
Nice vehicle.
Very nice one. Rob's driven it more than I.
I got to drive.
If we go down to Pearson and pick it up, I'll be driving.
I'm the designated, police car driver. Picking up, taking away the old ones.
Squeal tires and make sure they work.
Yeah, no. Although one trip, I was driving on 30 and Tim just wanted to make sure I didn't go fast enough to actually engage the camera. People were thinking I was in hot pursuit. I know where we are. It was all good and it was all fun. Joking with me. Like, did you do that?
Actually, I said, come on, Grandma, what's your problem?
You're in a police car. I will say it. It's been a really good educational process for me as well, just to know what goes into our average squad car. It's like, wow, it's crazy. What all we do, and we need to do. So good stuff.
I appreciate you, Rob.
Happy to do it.
That,
What do you have for us tonight, Rob?
Okay, well, last month, most of you remember the, work session at Dock Cable Pavilion, where we talked about pickleball. And so I've been very, very busy, with that, so just give you some information regarding that. I, met with Annette after that meeting, and Bill, if you weren't there, the meeting was, I think, it was obvious from that meeting that our community is very, very much in support of pickleball. We've done enough research from other municipalities and local towns that are close to us as well. And it's definitely something that the town of Wakarusa would like to see happen. Had a great meeting with Annette after that. We put together a plan in moving forward. And I think there were maybe between 60 and 70 people there. Does that sound about accurate? 60 to 70 people. And then we reached out to individuals, contacted 13 or 14 of them, and every single one of them has expressed interest to be involved with a steering committee. And they want to be involved with the project moving forward. So that was good. We intend to meet Wednesday for an introductory and an organizational meeting. There's probably going to be maybe 13, 14, possibly 15 people there. The purpose of the meeting is to develop an organizational plan, identifying separate steering committees to move the project along as efficiently as possible. Additionally, we'll want to determine meet times for progress reports and active discussion as the project moves toward completion. We still have to determine the final spot for it, although I did spend some time out at, I'm going to call it from this point forward, I'm simply going to call it the Wakarusa Athletic Complex, which is the area between the pine trees and the ball diamonds. It's actually not part of Memorial Park, it's east of Memorial Park, in that field out there. Went out with the measuring wheel. Alex was there, Randy was there, Carl was there, Andrew was there, Brock from the chamber was also there, and stood out there and really, quite frankly, it was much, given especially the changes that the ball diamonds are anticipating making with their major league ball field. They're going to move that outfield fence closer to home plate by 40 or 50 feet. The reason for that is the boys would like a greater opportunity to hit some home runs. I think the fence is about what Wrigley's fence is, and not too many kids are going to reach that. And in so doing, we're also going to address some of the water concerns out there. But that just creates a significant amount of space out there. Working with Carl and some overlays, there's enough room for 40 to 50 car parking lot out there, 6 pickleball courts, 2 basketball courts, and if you wanted to add another 6 pickleball courts, you could do it. And you could get nice walkways and paths between Memorial Park and the ball diamonds and available facility there, possibly with bathrooms or concession stands, whatever the case happens to be. It's obviously a work in progress, but there's a group of people that are very excited about moving forward in that regard. Good friend of mine, Mr. Steve Huntsberger, reached out to me because he got word that things were going, possibly moving forward with pickleball. And so I met with Steve, and I plan to meet with Steve further. But obviously, Steve, if you know Steve, he's got some concerns about what goes out at that park, rightly so. But when we have the opportunity to sit and enjoy a cup of coffee at the garage, and it was that he's a great guy. We've been friends for quite some time, but we had great conversation. We shed some tears. We talked about Travis. We talked about his family and so on and so forth, the importance of that park. And he just said, so what's going on? He wants to know, are we going to put pickleball right next to the memorial? And I'm like, no, that's not the plan. And so when we actually got a chance to talk about it, he just smiled from ear to ear, and he says, I think this is a great idea. But he said, please keep me posted. So anyway, it was kind of cool to connect with Steve, and I hope to do that more in the future. Incredible family, by the way. If you don't know them, they're amazing people. So that meeting is going to be Wednesday at 6:30. We're going to hopefully last about an hour. There's going to be coffee and cookies, and And, hopefully, some good things come out of that project. Any questions about? It's not, we have not drilled down as to whether or not that is the, a final, location for that. And that's going to be part of what we do, as we move through this steering committee to make sure it makes sense to do that, at that location. But I do like the idea of anything athletically related, especially for youth sports. It's kind of a cool idea to have it all kind of located in the same area. Town hall, roof repair. It's the next thing. I don't know how long our roof has been leaking, but it's continuing to do so. It seems to be getting worse, on the daily, especially with the snow load up there right now. And, so we've got ice damming going on up there and so on and so forth. And so it's finding its way into the building. Brock was sitting at his desk, Friday, and suddenly he's like, it's raining on my desk. And so he had this steady drip of water coming down, had to move his computer away. So it's definitely a problem that we have to address. According to Randy, it's been leaking for quite some time. And part of the problem is the design that's currently, that our building currently has, and it has to do with the build outs above the windows. And it's probably just easier for me to read from my report. So I spoke with Doug, and Doug from True Coat Roofing, Tony Zimmerman Construction, and they've come out, they've looked at the roof, and clearly it needs to be replaced. I don't know when the last time was we had people in here, but I think whatever that project was more of a patch job as opposed to a roof replacement. Well, it is now in need of replacing. According to Doug and Tony, we continue to have water issues in the building, especially due to the snow we've been getting this year so far. The forecast does not look promising in terms of, snow just suddenly stopping. But the bottom line is, it was raining on Lisa's desk earlier during the summer. We had a heavy rain event and water was pouring in through the ceiling. If you look around, if you take the time to just walk through the building, particularly in here in the main office and out there, you'll see all kinds of water stains. So the awning build outs are causing most of the water penetration along the outer walls primarily, but then it hits the inner structure and then it wicks back in, and then it just presents itself inside, and we don't really know where it's coming from. We just know it's coming from somewhere. It does not help that the water, according to the original design, is shedding towards the south. So it's also going towards those compromised areas, which is the build outs, those awnings above each window. And as the water sits there, it finds the path of least resistance, and that's where we have a lot of problems. So the suggested fix is to remove the build outs from above the window, and change the actual rake of the roof to run towards the north, where it will go into an oversized gutter, and then it will be channeled down towards the alley to a storm sewer, which is behind the building just to the north of this. And I'm simplifying this tremendously. There's a lot more to it than that. Suggested fixes to do that: remove those, run the water to the north of the building toward the parking lot area. That gutter will run down, then direct the water to a spout, shed the roof runoff toward the storm drain in the alley to the west. To accommodate this repair, Zimmerman Construction will then build, and every single window will have a void above it then, because that is no longer obviously there. So they need to do something with the facade. They recommend a 5-foot parapet on the south and east walls, southeast and north walls, new PVC rolled roofing to be installed by True Coat is what they recommend, and then run the roofing material up into the top of the parapet and down the back wall of that parapet wall. They'll shed to the north gutter. Also, in removing the build outs, those voids above each window will have to be addressed. New facade surface could be installed above the windows and the parapet, giving the building a much needed facelift as well. They anticipate this work would take around 4 to 6 weeks. Numbers are not final yet, and that's just only one contractor, and I need to get two more. And getting two more contractors this time of year, nobody wants to go on a roof, so it's, and rightly so, I get that. But that is something that we're working on as we speak, but, yeah, so we've got a leaking issue. Any questions there? I can answer based on what I currently know.
I've actually been up there. And where they did these awnings, they have like, 4 or 5 splices for each, trying to make that turn. And you can tell it's a leak point. Just looking at it, they're splicing a bunch of pieces to make that on each side, so I've physically seen that.
Well, I think when it's fixed, it would behoove us to go through and probably replace a lot of the tile that, if you go, you can just see a lot of tile that has water stains and it's quite unsightly,
Drywall issues back here.
especially for town hall.
We've had conversations with Chad Martin that has done similar repairs. He's highly recommended both Zimmerman and True Cut.
Doug, is this Leslie Martin?
They seem to do a real good job though.
Yeah, and we spent quite a bit of time talking to them. I was up on the roof during more favorable weather conditions with Doug, and he pointed out a lot of those things, at which point later then Alex and I walked up there and looked at those things, but it's a problem that's not going to go away until we actually address it. So, but I'm looking, Chad Martin has also suggested 2 other contractors, and I've reached out to both of them. I'm just waiting for them to actually let the weather clear up a little bit so they can go take a look at this project. Any questions on that?
I'll just make a statement. I can't remember us ever repairing this roof. It's been that long.
Well, there's, even on the flatter areas, there's just areas where the roof coating is just weird.
And
It's worn through.
it's been up there a long time.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah.
And I think there used to be stone up there before, when the building was originally. I don't know when the roof was actually done, but it's been a while. Quilt garden, we brought this up, gosh, I don't know, several months ago. Quilt garden patio. We met with John Huntsberger, who's with the ECCVB, and Crystal Welsh, who's with Avonmarsh, talking about the quilt garden project. We talked about this several months ago. That is gaining a lot of momentum. The ECCVB really wants to get behind the project, especially with event promotion when it's done. The whole idea is it would really revitalize that whole quilt garden area and create kind of a neat causeway or a pathway, walkway, inviting people back into the park, which we all know needs severe renovation. We're hoping in 2027 or 2028 that could be a project that we invest. Really love the idea of returning to how that park even came about in the first place, with all the community involvement and all the very, very cool emotional reasons for that park to exist. It'd be nice to be able to recapture that and make it something really, really nice and continue that memory in moving forward. So the quilt garden would connect South Elkhart Street. Quilt garden patio is what it's kind of becoming in my mind. It would connect that area, and then it would just draw people to that, which I think is as much of a memorial park as is our West Park as well. So anyway, we're gaining momentum on that, and I'm excited to see, what other information we gather. What am I missing here, Katie? But it will connect. It's going to create space for people to come to the downtown area and connect. It'll be great for the farmers market. It'll be great for car show. It'll be great for Maple Syrup Festival. And then just ongoingly as the pizza joint reopens, hopefully sometime before 2029. They've got a huge task there. I know that. But they are very excited about reopening. People can come get a slice of pizza. They can get some ice cream. They can get a cup of coffee, and it will give them just another nice place to kind of hit or sit and connect with other people from Walker Rousseau.
I think it'll help support the food, car food in and the farmers market as well. So we can put that there. We're working on some grants for that space.
Yeah, it could be a really, really sharp area when it's all said and done. But we're looking for community involvement and we want people to give us their input and so on and so forth. So as that project begins to unfold, you'll see more opportunities for that as we move forward. That's all I have.
You want to show a couple of those pictures?
Which ones?
The ones in public work.
The ones that,
So one of our salt trucks got hit this year. I will pull up that picture, just
which salt truck was it? The old
the newest one.
It's always the new one.
Yeah, exactly.
Never the old.
Luckily, it's minimal.
Can I say something about this though? This is, one of the things that makes us, I think, different from a lot of municipalities is we've got the capability, because of the crew that's being developed down there, to do a lot of things internally. And it's cool for me to see this, and so I'm just gonna let Alex kind of take over from here, but yeah, it's really
Luckily,
impressive.
so this picture is unrelated, but go to the next one. Rob. That's the car after it hit the dump truck. It totaled it, engine got pushed back. Didn't it total it, Tim?
Oh, yeah.
Engine got pushed back. But minimal damage to our tank of a salt truck. We had a fender broke, a tire split, and a rim kind of tore up a little bit. So all in all, we fared very well. The truck's still running. But the other picture that Rob had, so
That's the damage.
yeah, very minimal. Lucky he hit there, not the salt spreader or the belly blade. But the one that's in the shop, this is another, we're very fortunate to have an individual that's mechanically inclined and not afraid to take on these tasks. I'd hate to guess how many thousands upon thousands of dollars he saved us, but this is the new dump truck unrelated to the accident. Had to replace some hub oil and some hub seals, and is not afraid to do it. So this probably would have been several $1,000s when we subbed it out. Recently replaced the differential on the Coyote with some help with some other guys. The part alone was $1,800. Took them 2 days, but that would have been $9,000, which would have been more than the value of the Coyote. So we're very fortunate. We have the space, the personnel, and the equipment to do what we need to do.
Yeah,
So
the
we,
1940 Jack. There's.
yeah,
I'm just admiring that beast of a jacket.
yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Well, it's been there longer than Randy's been there, and according to Randy's been there a long time. So,
Horses in 3 minutes.
but as the director of public works, I do want to thank everybody here in the community for giving us the resources to do our job properly, and the guys for having the ability and the willingness to tackle these projects. So it doesn't just stop with the vehicle; it stops with every task that we do. Whether it's underground infrastructure, on snow, they give it their all. And
They're building offices.
we're building offices. And we appreciate each one of them, and also you guys for allowing us to have support staff that we need. So thank you.
Kind of cool about it to the shop.
No, I don't think so.
It's kind of cool walking through the shop and seeing the whole front of that Coyote just.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's been times that almost every bay is full in that north building with something needing fixed. And that's all dollars that were saved to the community because we're able to do it ourselves. You know what shop rate is.
Oh, yeah.
Let alone the time, this is midwinter. We need this truck, let alone the time of that truck being away from us. So it's wonderful. So.
And you're able to get the parts right away?
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
amazing.
Yep. So had some water in the gear oil because the cap come off, something little, but you can't run it like that. So I trashed the whole front end. So he did it. So just thank those guys, BC. They really do a great job.
Appreciate those guys.
So
Rock, do you have anything?
I do, we need to set an exec meeting to discuss the issue that Alex stated. Charlie said that we can discuss job performance evaluation, employee-specific compensation for employment matters. We can vote that. We can't make a decision. We can discuss.
Okay.
We need to do that.
Were you gonna do it like next week?
Works for everybody.
I can't do Monday or third Monday, so.
Okay.
Like the 10th would be the Tuesday.
Believe there's some maple syrup, the school meeting, the 10th.
Sorry.
I think Brock just texted me that.
He did.
Look.
You
Yeah,
did.
I'm actually gonna attend this one, so let's
Okay.
get them up in Monday.
So you said you couldn't do it Monday? Could you do it Monday, the 9th?
I can't, unless it's
Oh.
later. I have a meeting at 4:30, sorry.
What about the 12th?
12 would be better for me.
As long as it's earlier.
What time do you wanna do it?
What time would you be back? You know? I know you got it available.
After 5. Yeah, anytime after 5, like 5:30, 6 o'clock, maybe 5:30, earlier the better.
I can do 5. Can you do 5?
On the 12th.
On the, well, yeah, so.
You say Monday didn't work for you?
Monday and I didn't work.
Yeah.
Show me right now.
Yeah, that works. At 5, right?
5, yeah.
Yep, we'll make it.
Thank you for doing it.
Anything else?
Yeah, then the other thing I had was, and this is kind of a hard subject. It's with using, public works equipment. Whether we allow people that ask that are maybe a volunteer fireman, something like that, to use that equipment, or one of us. Whether that should be allowed, I feel like it kind of puts Alex in a tough situation. When I checked with our insurance today to see how that works. This is what John told me. He said, if Alex would have to authorize somebody to use the equipment for it to be taken out of the shop. And that's on a per needed basis. So whether it's not just a general, it's every time. If you give somebody permission to operate that vehicle, it would be covered, but our insurance follows the equipment. So whoever uses that equipment, it's at the town's responsibility at that point to pay for it if there's any damages done or who they do them to. So the chance of lawsuit, anything like that. If Alex allows me to use a town truck, I bring the town truck home. I go out to dinner with my husband, my son decides to take that truck and run to the grocery store and is in an accident, then that would fall on me because I didn't give them permission to use that. So I guess I'm feeling kind of like we just don't allow it. That's my opinion of it. I, for one, as a council member, don't feel that it looks good. If any of us or anybody else is using the equipment that all the taxpayers are paying to operate, paying to fuel, paying to repair, all of those things, whether it's a mower, a truck, anything. I don't know, but I'm one person. I don't know how you all feel about it. I don't have access to the garage. I don't want access to the garage. I trust our maintenance employees and Alex to take care of that. But I feel it's something we need to address because I'm seeing the stuff being used more. I don't know what everybody else's opinion is, but that's just my personal opinion. I don't want our town to take liability for something that I do. And I don't want to put the house in that position.
Well, I know in the past, that's always been a benefit of the guys that work with the town.
I think if it's a public works employee, that's different. They're a full-time employee that operates that vehicle, that piece of equipment every day. I think if he gives their public works department permission to take something home to move a piece of equipment or something, I'm totally okay with that. I'm talking about a volunteer fireman, I'm talking about Judy Briganti, I'm talking about myself. That's what I'm talking about.
I've always questioned a little bit on, the ladder truck usage, I feel like,
Right.
that was sometimes a reach, so some of the individuals that asked for it, so I think maybe a little clarification there would be good.
Right.
I thought you'd put a stop to that because one individual would use it, but they're not using it anymore because of a safety issue.
Yeah, so we just have to make that, I need the direction from you guys to say exactly what your expectation is. Then I have a leg to stand. So,
Yeah, I think it's something we need to consider. And again, I'm not against such work employees. They use that equipment every day. They know what to do with it. They're responsible for fixing it.
yeah,
I mean, it's, that's different. They're insured to do it every day. The general town is not.
As an employee, I'm very thankful. If there's anything that I've used the most, it's always been one-ton dump. But yet, the backside of that is we are not gonna say, hey, if you need a police car, come and use the police car.
Right.
Well,
Right.
I mean, so, it's almost one lopsided.
Yeah.
And, when I've used the dump truck, it's usually for debris, the fall cleanup, the spring cleanup, and things like that. I mean, I would never ask these guys, hey, can I use the full-size dump truck? I would never ask them if I could use the backhoe. I
Right.
would never ask them if I could use anything other than maybe the simple pickup truck or the dump truck. But again, I mean, it's, if you were to tell me no more, then I'm gonna go to my guys and I'm gonna go, no more, go to the next. Go to the next. And whatever that looks like, I know that Alex and his guys, if I were to call him and say, man, I got a bunch of debris, you guys can, I mean, even though by theory, they're not supposed to, if we have trimmings and bush trimmings and things like that, they are not supposed to come and pick it up unless it's created by a storm. Yeah, right?
Or just put it out by the street.
Yeah.
Just pick it up anyway.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think you're supposed to. I mean,
there's certain, so one day a week we pick up trash, but there's certain dimensions they're supposed to be. We don't always push that. I mean,
no, you don't. I mean, when I drive by and I see some of the stuff out there, you guys pick up, I'm going, you guys are saints. I mean, that would be my only caveat. That but again, I mean, what's fair is fair. And I don't want it to be just because I'm a town employee. I would want it to be if the whole town is able to have debris picked up. Again, it's just adding work to these guys' schedule. I don't want to do that, but it's just something that really needs to be thought of. I mean, I have 2 trees that do not shed leaves until January, when that first, or November, when the first snowfall came down. I mean, it was absolutely ugly. So somewhere along the line, there has to be a reprieve. There has to be something done that creates that cleanup a little bit more than what it is. Again, I'm not asking these guys to do what they've done because I'm very appreciative of it, but I just have always, as myself, just called Alex, hey, can I use the dump truck? I don't want to bother you guys. That's what it always was with me. And the other, I'll just throw Eric under the bus. I mean, the same thing with him. I mean, I don't think it's overuse, but yeah, if you guys made the decision, no more, then I'll let it agree by it. It's just that simple.
I will say that I don't feel like we have an issue in the public works. My biggest concern was the ladder truck. When we're sending that out and it's not someone that's maybe a volunteer, I don't feel comfortable. They may know how to run it all day long better than us, but I don't feel comfortable because it's kind of out of our reach of responsibility. So that's been my biggest worry is when someone takes that Other than that, I don't think I've had any issues to the point where, someone's borrowed something, we need it. It doesn't usually happen like that. Everything's come back fine. I haven't had
Do
any.
they always ask you
Yes,
personally?
every single time. Tim's good about it. Other people are good about it. Everybody always asks. I think it's some of the people maybe that have retired that still think, which I commend them for all the years of service, but feel like they're still owed that may be an area that I don't want to play in.
If they're not on the town's insurance,
Yeah.
like the current volunteer firefighters or council or full-time employees, in my opinion, they shouldn't be,
No.
because they're not covered under insurance.
So that's one thing we're trying to get stopped, is to say no more. I would like direction from you guys on that.
So, well, it's not just big equipment either. I mean, it can be something as simple as a leaf blower,
Yeah.
chainsaw, or a weed whacker.
Yeah.
Is it big?
That gets crazy.
To me, I guess I didn't think it was being abused.
I don't think it's being abused. That's just, the item I have concern is the ladder truck. That's all I really care about.
And it's not because he said anything, I'm saying it. I just feel like if we, as a town, are we willing to take that liability? Are we willing to put our town at a liability risk?
It's huge. And if we think that even if they're volunteer
Somebody to
firemen,
use.
a policeman, a town employee,
Right.
if we think that we are not subjective to any kind of legality lawsuit where
I think we're even bigger.
we are mistaken, that's exactly right. I mean, I don't know if Charlie would concur with that or not, but it could be as simple as when we do lockouts for people, we say, you know, sign this form.
Yeah.
I mean, it's if somebody really wanted to challenge it,
Yeah.
they could challenge it all day long, but it could be as simple as having a written agreement saying that, we're going to forego any and all. If we hurt ourselves using this equipment, then this is on us.
Yeah, but it's not the person who's actually using it, because I mean, you can release that. It's the third party that gets injured. It's not.
Yeah, I'm clear. Yeah, it could be somebody that.
And what you said is our insurance follows the piece of equipment.
Right.
So,
As long as that person has permission.
yes, as long as that person has permission.
Oh, that was the only one piece of equipment. I think after the fire truck's gone, I don't think we have to. Hopefully, pending approval from the zoning unit. I don't think that'll be an issue. So, but I don't feel like it's not a conflict to the department. They were unique, and I don't feel like it's being abused. So, that's just my point. But I do appreciate the clarification on the fire truck and individuals outside of the town center here that use it, so.
I know for a fact, we've done a couple of years that even with Commission Surf Festival, we'll get on a piece of equipment, you got blocks and stuff around.
That's different though. That's for town.
I
use.
know, but
It's
I'm
not
just
for
saying,
personal use. It's only for personal use. I mean, in the insurance law, that is for personal use. For town use, I have no issue with that.
I don't see like one single piece of equipment getting used all the time. That is just an abuse. I would consider that abuse. So that's just my opinion. And anybody that does use it, they've always asked. And so Tim's really good as well. Eric's borrowed, I think, something before. Rob always asked. I mean, Rob's, town manager still. He always asks with public works.
I know, halfway through, time and I borrowed the push mower.
So there's instances, but even Rob checks with public works. He's my boss, but he checks with public works just to make sure that.
As long as everybody's asking permission every time.
Yeah.
That's all I learned.
I'm good.
You good? See everybody tomorrow night?
This, Katie, you have a room over there, have one,